Hello, hi guys, I'm Lily and I'm the creator of Comics by Lily on Instagram and Facebook. And today this is my workshop and I'll teach you about the ins and outs of making a diary comic on a single piece of paper. And yeah, we'll just show a little story of yourself. So let's get started. Cool. All right, let's start with an acknowledgement of country. So firstly, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land in which we gather today, the Wurundjeri people, a gathering point for members of the Kulin Nation, where age-old ceremonies and celebrations, intonations and renewal took place. I would also like to pay my respects to elders, both past and present. Alrighty, let's get started. And I'll be looking from here and there because I have my timeline here. All right, cool. So for zines, we'll start with really basic things. We have a pen. I just use a standard pen here. A fine liner or a felt tip maker works. A pencil of some kind, rubbers and erasers, and some scissors. These are like the basic tools of what you do to create your zine and make it come alive. Alrighty. And you can also use like a few sticky notes too to add a bit more like highlights or things in between, but we'll go through that a bit later. All right, for the zine, let's start by folding and creating this thing, shall we? So we'll start by folding a piece of paper. It could be A3 or A4, doesn't matter. Right in the middle here, like that, and you fold that like this. So you fold that in half as well. And what I like to do, I fold that outer edge into the middle here. And we flip it around and fold that outer edge into the middle. And that is the start here. Let's unfold the zine or zine to be. And with that, we'll turn it 90 degrees and fold it away from you. And for this part, grab a good old pair of scissors, or if you like, I like to put a pen mark just so I know I'm cutting straight. My pen's not working. All good. There you go. There you go. And that's where I'm going to cut. So the cutting edge is in the middle and you have the flappy edges facing towards you. Turn it again and we cut it right in the center. And for this part, let's turn it facing above. You open the ends and it becomes like a chicken beak, like that. You fold it, squish it together like a plus sign. You turn that plus sign facing down. So now you have this loose book to be. You open the middle part, press it down. Press that down too. So now that is zine. There you go. So it's up to you if you want to use the cutting edge for your top or use the straight edge for your top. But I tend to like the rough edge. to be the top because that gives that the nice handmade look. All right, so this is it. I like to number my pages to see how I'm going. So for this page is number 1. Let's put it here. On the very edge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 2 pages all numbered. And let's grab some sticky notes and put this on in the front. I put the word front in the front. So there'll be a placeholder there and then the back. Cool. All right. Your zine has come alive. Well, this is more like the backbone of it, but let's keep going. All right, so for the front page, you actually not sure what you're gonna start writing, so let's not worry about that now. For the first 2 pages, it'll be like an introduction. So it'll be like either introduction to your character, it'll be yourself or anything that happened in your life. So let's say, okay, come back to that. The middle 4 and 5 would be like the conflict or something that kind of had a turning point in this little story or something like you learned. And for the 6 and 7, it'll be like the ending. So it'll be like a wrap up or like a reflection of what happened in the start of your story. So for the start, let's write down. I like to start with pencil, just so I can rub out any mistakes or things I want to change later on. Let's see. Cool. I'm gonna write down this one. Okay. Cool. So with the first part of the zine, I like to just focus on the words to create and shape the story. The drawings kind of like come later and it like accompanies what's going on. So the words are what brings the story to life. So I started with, let's see. I had a bowl of warm oats with berries this morning. This is how I start my day. Yeah, it's very normal, very mundane, but yeah, let's see how this story unfolds. So the middle part. So the middle part is where something interesting happens, something unusual or anything you notice from your everyday life. So something as like mundane as raspberries and blueberries have been quite pricey nowadays. During family parties, if I see a bowl of blueberries, dot, dot, dot. And I like writing in caps just to make it really easy for people to read. Because sometimes when I get excited, my words get really messy and I'm probably the only one who can read it. So if you have really nice writing, you can write in caps or in just like any neat writing, but the neater, the better. And oh my gosh, we're in the end already. So the end is like a wrap up or like something you learn from this experience. Okay. And this could be funny, it could be reflective, and it can even be like a quote or something you heard from the train or something that kind of caught your attention. Because the beauty of zines is that it's kind of your own kind of story. It's your own little snapshot of what you think it was important at that time. And it's like valuable for you to share and create art about it. That's why zines are really cool and kind of a way to make a book within like minutes or hours, depending. So yeah, we have the power of making books with a few minutes if we have cool ideas. All right. So for the ending, I go ham. And my learning from this is that but at home, I stick with the frozen berries until they go on sale. So that's my little story about my love and addiction of berries because I love fruit. Cool. All right. So that is the words and letters part of the activity. Oh, thank you. And now it's time to draw, which is the part where you kind of get a bit creative and get into collaging if you like. But I like to say keep it really simple with pencil first, and then you can go with collage. But if you want to get creative and get newspaper cuttings or magazine cuttings and glue them out with your glue stick, that's also a good way too if you're not like into drawing. So yeah, the world's your oyster. Okay, for the front page. So I had a bowl of oats. So let's draw a bowl of oats to accompany this. That's my bowl. It's my lovely IKEA bowl. And this is how I start my day. I can start by drawing yourself. I have like a cartoonish version of myself that I keep drawing in the same style. So I'll draw that while I eat my bowl of oats in this picture. And let's add some details to the blinds. Kind of like that. And, a window, bit of scenery to make things a bit exciting as well. And that's the grass. Some birds. Birds that are drawn like little M's. This is how I draw birds, just so, you know, it's a universal way to draw birds without getting too detailed. Cool. So that's the introduction. Shows a close-up of my oats and me eating. So next part. So this is where you talk about the conflict. So let's draw the scene in action. Yeah, like recently, because I usually buy groceries in like local Asian groceries, and yeah, I just tend to just check out the prices and have like a standard like a standard price in my head. I'm like, if it doesn't go like above $6, then I'll buy this. Yeah. Okay. That's the sign. Actually, like if you make a mistake, you can use just the rubber to erase it out. Because I think the other day I saw it like that much. It's like that much. Yeah. That's the scene. And I find it really interesting to show like reaction of yourself, like seeing the scene unfold. There you go. Draw my shopping cart. That's my shopping cart. Okay, so for this, let's see. Ooh, it'll be interesting to see like a dynamic change. So you can always draw the same scene again. But just slightly change it. And since I'm excited, I like to draw my hair getting like excited too, just to show like, oh, my hair is even like getting excited for this berry situation. Yeah, something like that. And I like to add like lines of excitement to show it's super important. Mm. Mm. And it says a family party. That's all right. We'll come back to that later. So the reason why I drew this kind of in the middle is that you can do this. There's no rules of putting the text on the bottom or the top or in like a speech bubble, but let's see what this happens. There you go. I think that'd be cute. There you go. So when you come here during a family party, if you see a bowl of berries, dot, 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 and then you turn the page and there's a change or something interesting happens. Like I think back then when I got introduced to kind of comics and books, my cousin let me like borrow one of her like horror books. It was actually The Ring, but like the manga version. And it wasn't a good idea to read it in like the basement. Yeah. So when I read the book, the text was so like detailed. So when something was happening, it's like, oh, there's something in the dark corner, and then boom, the scary character comes and like jumps at you when you flip the page. So it creates like like an experience when you like read the book. So I think that's a really creative way to show movement whenever you're reading. So this, it says Cole's catalog, and I put an arrow pointing to the book that I'm reading, because you can always write Cole's, but you know, it's hard to read. So arrows would be your best friend. Oops. Uh-huh. So there's a mistake. So I just simply grab a rubber, get rid of it. There you go. And this is my speech bubble. So there's different kinds of text here to explain what's going on. That's the end of the story. So it's not too elaborate. Making a zine could be just simply showing the love of food or an activity you like doing. And yeah, you don't need to rush it. You can take a few days doing it. And yeah, I think I take around like half an hour to an hour to make zines, but it usually just pops up. I was like, comes, this is an interesting thing, or I find that funny. Yeah. Okay. Let's think about the back first. Do the front in the front. So the back. Simply a picture of a berry. Berry with a face. Kind of looks like the tomato. Hmm. Let's put like strawberries too. Strawberry with a face. And I find raspberries a bit tricky to grow. But there you go. Like a whole berry family. Now the front. This is, I'll draw my face. Could be as exaggerated as you want. And there's a berry kind of basket. The berries are huge though. But that'll make sense. Let's add some text here. Oh, there you go. Let's grab this. Ooh, now, most of the penciling is done. Let's have a look. Just check if there's any details you want to add. There we go. Ah, yes. I want to add more people in this situation because it's a party, yeah? There's all the people. So let's draw some people in the way. To there you go. Since the characters are not the main characters, I draw them as like little short salt shakers. Because you know they're people, heads with a squarish or rectangle body. Doesn't have to be super realistic. Now, let's do this. Now it's nice and outlined. Cool. Let's do the outlining part. So we'll grab and fine lining here. I like to use all 8, but you can use as thick as you want, or as thin as you want. Do the outlining. Tell you stories about zines. So I started making zines when I was, I think like 4-ish years ago. Well, even before that, I attended workshops in signal arts, and they taught me about self-publishing, making zines, and got to draw hair and this thing. There you go. But yeah, the signal arts kind of opened my world of zine making. There was excursions to the Sticky Institute, which is a zine store for sharing and selling zines. And from that, I created my own kind of zines that talk about everyday life, like Vietnamese culture and just quirky things that I sell in the zine fair every year. But this year it got cancelled because of COVID, and it moved to an online fair. So, that's okay. Things happen, but yeah, I got a lot of zines left over from that. So thinking of putting zines again in the Sticky Institute to sell and share. And yeah. And I think zines are a good way to, even you can give it to your mates or share around with your family, because it's so, it's like it shows a handmade quality. And from this, you can also like photocopy it, but I'll go into that a bit later. And yeah, just lately I've been reading a lot of comics and zines, even online. A few of my favorites are, there's an artist called Emmy Town. Um, she's one of the artists that I kind of pushed me into doing diary comics. Yeah, so Emmy, she, like a span of 3 months or around 2 months, she wrote like a page, like a diary entry of a zine every day. It talked about like, she also wrote about food. She was into like breakfast burritos, and another day will be like talking about her work and talking about hanging out with her mates. Yeah, that was like a little challenge for her to do every day for 3 months. And yeah, I think that's a really good way to kind of train yourself to draw and practice, to give away to have an outlet. Because I know journaling is pretty big nowadays. People love to journal. They like to do like dot journaling too, to organize themselves. Yeah, different ways to write things down. Mhm. And usually for inking, you want to do this as careful and slowly as you want. I'm doing it a bit fast here. So yeah, you can go to the collaging part, but no worries. So if if inking is too mundane, sometimes you can bring your zines along to like long train rides, or when you're waiting at the bus, you can just ink away. And you can also like photocopy the pencil copy as well, but I don't think it'll be as like dark, and it just makes it harder to see the words in detail when you photocopy or like decide to scan or edit on Photoshop. So yeah, I do like inking. Future me would appreciate this step. Yes. So for zines, if you make a A3 zine, it will be around this small. But if you decide to make an A4 zine, it'll be half of this. So it'll be a nice small zine, probably around this size. It'll be nice and intimate. Um, Either one works, but I tend to find bigger zines a bit more easier to read, and you can add a bit more details. So whatever you like. And for those who doing a digital zine, So you can also do each page individually. I think you just have to save it as like separate JPEGs or separate Photoshop files. And it might take a bit more photoshopping or editing to put it into like a zine, but um, it would be good for like web posting, since you can just make it as a long strip or just like separate JPEGs for people to swipe through on Instagram. So that works as well. Yeah, when I do comics like these, I'll have to cut each page, and I like to have each page as like a one panel on Instagram. Yeah, so it's just easier to read. Like people are swiping like they're reading a book. Mhm. Mhm. And on to the last page. All right. Mhm. And after this, I'll do a bit of show and tell with the zines I have in my collection. It was kind of difficult to find like a bunch of zines because I have so many. I have a huge storage box of zines in my cupboard, and they're all filled with good stuff. And I think I don't like putting them like in my bookshelf because they get a bit dusty. So I put them away in my storage box so bugs and critters aren't eating away at my precious collection. So yes, I think um, one of my one of the artists I found in the library, they they made like a short scene as like their like wedding gifts to people. I'm not sure what's it called, like when you give gifts to to your like guests and friends when they can take home. So yeah, he gave like little zines for them to take home about their love story, and I thought that was so cute. Such a good way to like have like a memento for people to take home. I'm not sure if I'll make a zine though, so it'll be a cute idea. on my wedding day. He's like, hey, everybody, you need to take a zine home. All righty. The pen, the inking is done. Nice. So for the last part, let's grab an eraser and you will erase all the pencil marks and just make sure you ink all the pencil marks so you know what not to erase. Okay. Yeah, so this method of zine making is called PIE, pencil, ink, and erase. Yeah, this method is thanks to Mark Barrett, Merrick Bennett. He's like an artist that's a zine artist that teaches online as well. Yeah, so the PIE method, pencil, ink, erase, never forget. And if the PIE method takes too long, you can do the I method, which is just directly inking your zine to paper. And that's when you're a bit more confident of just making that rough kind of look without having a guide of pencil behind the on the paper already. Whatever works. I'll switch to my big eraser. This is called a soap eraser. I bought it back in when I was studying art, and I think it was 4 years and it's still unused. Well, it's this big. Yeah. I don't think it's any different from any eraser, to be honest. It's just nice and fits in your hand. Yeah. I like to erase away from me because if I go this, the paper's kind of, it freaks out and kind of scrunches. So if I keep it away, it doesn't scrunch and it makes the process a whole lot easier. I'll turn it away, do the same as this. Excuse the noise. Again, you can also do the erasing once you're like watching TV, watching Netflix, or watching a video like this. And yeah, it's one of those things where you can just take on the road and erase, and try to also keep your erase kind of bits and dust in your zine, and then you can just throw in the bin. I'm not sure you can see, but it's creating a bit of a eraser trail, but I'll put that away. Yeah, so these and scenes and comics are pretty versatile. You can just kind of write about anything. I think the other day I talked about Lunar New Year, and I thought, yeah, it'll be an interesting way to just share about the tradition that me and my family go and share every year. And then another one I did was about Christmas shopping. How like one time I got hit by a trolley because someone got too excited on the Christmas shop. And yeah, other days I just talk about food. Oh yes, during lockdown I did one about making toasties, and it was like a instructional, kind of a very normal. I'm pretty sure it was only 4 panels. So panels would be like, this one would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a 6-panel comic. So you can do like as many or as little as you can. And I think tend to stick to 6 because it has a nice balance of two pages for introduction, 2 panels for the middle part, and 2 panels for like the wrap up or the ending. Yeah, depends on what you like doing. All right, team, we are done. Again, check if there's anything you missed. Okay, nice. Keep getting rid of that. Now time to get a bit creative, because in your packs, or even I'm sure you have a few things lying around like sticky notes or like different colored sticky notes that you can use as like a collage or add a bit of pop or color to your zine. But bear in mind, if you are photocopying zines after this, the color would be like a light gray. So yeah, just keep that in mind. I have 2 colors here. I want to do green today. Let's do that. So for the oats, I want to do a spoon. Okay. So here, it really zooms well. So if you don't want the pencil mark to show, you just flip it around. There you go. And I'll grab my imaginary glue stick, or you can even use some blue tack lying around. There you go. I'll put some covering that. Let's do it like that. With the leftover piece of paper. This could be my new window. And if you already know what you're going to draw, you can just copy that onto your little piece of paper. There you go. Since you already know, you don't need to use pencil. Nice. Go. Here's the first 2 pages. If you're not sure how big you want to cut things, you just put it against your drawing. Do it slightly bigger. Oops. Okay. If you have any mistakes that come up, I tend to just make the words really bold, and then no one's gonna see the mistake. Yeah, make it really bold and thick if there's a mistake here. Oh yes, I want to also mention having this will be your best friend, which is this is just a whiteout correction tape. So if there's any mistakes that are, for example, I screwed up this I don't like the I can just do this, disappears, and then I can write it on again. Or another option is that you can get a piece of paper or sticky note lying around, and cut a very small piece. Get your imaginary glue stick and cover that eye. Yeah, so there's different ways to get rid of mistakes here. All right, let's cut that little sign. And since I'm using the sticky part, I can simply do this. Very stuck down. I want to repurpose this. I like to do this. If you want to create like something that sticks out but doesn't cover this, if you look very closely, okay, well, with my eyes here, I can see through the paper. And with that, you can use your pencil to trace an outline of the person's head. Take up a piece of paper, cut along that, and slice it slightly more. Yeah, I'm going to make it slightly imperfect. I'll slip on here. There you go. I did it on the sign. I did it here because these two are the most important part of the story. And I wanted to get, I'm going to speed on through. I have a few things already cut. I've cut love hearts on the eyes. Oh, I didn't say that. And this. Oh, it fits just perfectly. So I did 2 love hearts for the eyes and the Coles catalog. And it says Coles, which I should make in bold. And you don't need to like rub out this if you like. No biggie. All right, and that is your zine. So I'll make it really close for you. What a love of berries. And the cute berry family there. Oh, I think raspberries have like a spiky head, like a crown. That's the zine. And there's a few things I want to go through as well. So before, at the start, I mentioned that I had a few zines. Oh, thank you. Someone's clapping. I have another clap. Thank you. There's a few zines that I brought out to show different examples. And yeah, this is where I get my inspiration. It's just by reading different kind of zines. Let's do this one. This one is a really cool one. So it's so this person has their tag in the back. So you can always write a tag. You can, since my tag is here, I can put that. Yeah. You can put in the back so people can find you. Yeah, this for the zine, it comes with a lot of text and a bit of drawing as well. And it folds to a full, anyway, a full poster. That's really cool. You can put it together, it becomes a zine again. And this zine was given to me when I was in Sticky Institute. I met a lovely girl making a zine. And it's just about a character dancing and yeah, going about his day, and all that tags in the back. And this is another zine where it's all text. There's no drawings at all. And this is an A4 piece of paper. And she kind of formatted it so when you fold it, it doesn't go through the writing. So I find that really thoughtful. Even here, she added like a bit of space so you can, yeah, no words get stuck in between. And here's another artist called Chris Gooch. He's a lovely Melbourne comic artist. And he shows all drawings. Zines can just be drawings as well. And I think it's like he said, this is mostly Josh. So I think it's a friend. So just drawings of his mate. I think that's him. And this one I got, day 12, I got it from the zine fair. It's like, again, it shows like little details of the day. She has a date here, has a picture of a shirt and talks about the tie-dye shirt. And a picture of a dog. It talks about, it doesn't talk about the dog. It talks about a LCD sound system. So that's the thing. You can write about as random, as spontaneous as you want. As long as it makes sense to you, then it's okay. Yeah, and I think I mentioned before that for people who have really neat writing, you can write like normally. You don't have to just do like caps lock like me. So yeah, this is very readable. Again, her name's in the back. This is a Valbo zine. I got this from a zine fair last year, not 2 years back. Yeah, 2018. And it shows about, it has a bit more color. So when you print, it gets a little bit more expensive. I remember in Officeworks, it ranges towards like $1 per page or something, but have that checked out. So this zine talks about her experience as a dental assistant and how it differs from her experience in Taiwan, because she worked in Taiwan and then she moved to Australia. And yeah, it shows like the nuances of each experience as a dental assistant and the difficult life of this young lady. So she's really lovely too. She's really nice. And lastly, there's zines where it can just be cats, drawings, not drawings, photos of cats. So it's like a collection of just one thing. That's so cute. Yeah. And this page is really nice where she had to, oh, this was one picture, but she cut it in half on Photoshop. So it does have that, like, it doesn't cut the cat's eye, cut it a little bit, but I think if she put it in without doing that white spacing between, then it'll probably look like that. So yeah, she's very thoughtful of making this scene too. This one's my personal favorite because it looks like my cat. Oh, and if you have pets, I think that's a really good way to start practicing making zines, because the things pets do is always so, endearing and cute. This one's adorable. Yeah, and she has a Instagram in the back. Yeah. With this collection, I'll simply, what is my zine bill? Ah, yes. With my collection, we'll just put it together, and hopefully for the next few sessions, I'll teach you how to photocopy zines and even like have copies that you can share with friends and family and put them onto Photoshop to work the shadows and edit a bit further. And you can even take this apart and draw in the back. That's the beauty of having a two-sided piece of paper. You can draw like a huge picture or even do a zine in the back too. So it'll be like a reversible zine. So you can have a story here and story in the back. So that's another idea. All right. Thank you for attending the workshop, and I hope I'll hopefully see you next time. All right.